All right, welcome to my rambling, nonsensical, unscripted sort of show or my podcast. I'm Wolf.
I'm Daddy.
So let's go ahead and get started. Last week we talked about having to script these, and I kind of did.
Well, it's not really a script. You just made some notes.
I made a bullet point of what I wanted to talk about,
which we need to do more of.
And hopefully this will. I'm fixing my socks. Hopefully this will make it go smoothly. Probably not. So one thing that we thought of together was a verses, and it's going to be songs
This week.
This week, we're going to look at songs, the same song, but sung by two different artists, and given our opinion on it.
And with time between them too. The world of entertainment is full of remakes, reboots, and rip-offs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just going to kind of... I listen to a certain radio station, he hears songs on there, that, I'm like, no, this is the original.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a rip-off of that. No. This is the original. And just thought it'd be fun to take a look at a song. And for the first verses that we're going to do, Wolf found a song that he really likes. It's contemporary right now. And go ahead and talk about it.
So the song is called Mad World. Many people may have heard it and you may not have. The original song was written and sung by Tears for Fears in 1983, and lots of people have covered it, but the one that I like the most is by Gary Jules, who did it in 2001. Yeah, 2001. If you don't know that song, it's the message behind it is really sad. So let's go ahead and get started.
Well, if we had the music, we could play a few seconds of it. But
yeah,
being from that time period of the original, I don't really care for it. I like Tears for Fears, some of their songs, but in '83, they weren't quite busting through yet. So that song being before all their bigger hits, I listened to it. I didn't really care for it. In this case, I might like the remake a little bit better, but originally it's got all the hallmarks of early 80s overproduction, echoes on every instrument, including the voice, some weird British synths that sound like video games. Well, of course, later on as technology progressed, it was. Roland Orzabal, good writer, good singer. As you know, everyone wants to rule the world. Shout, head over heels, all that stuff. But that came after this particular song, and I wouldn't really. And, as a matter of fact, in this week's edition of Versus, I don't really pick either one of them. Gary Jules was okay. You can talk about Gary, why you like it so much.
So the reason I dislike Tears for Fears is because, on that song, is the upbeat music for a sad song. Although sometimes that can work well. This time, on that case, it did not. The trumpets was just weird for me, and sometimes the music would overtake the lyrics. You couldn't hear what he was singing about at all. And then when Gary Jules did it, he stripped that all away, and he just kind of had a piano going, and
I did like that aspect of it.
Yeah, and just him singing it, and he slowed it way down from their version, and you really could feel the emotion behind the lyrics.
And two things: one, no trumpets; those are synthesizers. They can sound like trumpets. And the thing is, that is a trend right now: is to take songs, whether they're dramatic or not, and slow them down to make them dramatic. It is happening a lot, especially in commercial advertising.
Yeah.
There's a commercial for a perfume. I don't know what it is, but they actually use "You're the One That I Want" by Grease from the Grease soundtrack. But it is so slow that you have to listen to the words to figure out what the song is, and using that as a dramatic song, that's kind of funny. There's a couple other ones that we've heard, and
There's I don't know who does it, but someone does a True Colors remake, which is horrible. I don't like it at all. I like Cyndi Lauper
and Phil Collins.
And what was the one that we saw? It was Amy Adams and what's his face?
Saying True Colors?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What's his face? I think it's Adam Levine.
Amy Adams? She's an actress.
Mm-hmm. It was like a duet type thing. I don't know. But so for me to take away on the verses, I pick Gary Jules.
I don't pick either one.
And that's kind of how it's going to work. So the next thing we're going to move on to here is undocumented children will be eligible for full Medi-Cal in California.
Not when President Trump takes over.
What is this crap? I mean, I don't even have Medi-Cal, and I'm a citizen. What is that? I think it's ridiculous. I don't understand it. If you're in this country illegally, why should you have all the rights of a citizen? Or maybe not all, but you have a majority of the rights that citizens have.
Well, the other thing too is, so do prisoners. If you break the law, why should you be afforded not internet, but TV, exercise, play, time to be out and be social?
Mm-hmm.
You broke the law. You're being punished. Why should you get anything?
Yeah.
Except a place to sleep and something to eat.
Right.
So, undocumented. This will be the first podcast that generates comments on the below section.
Yeah,
I can tell you that, because we're both. It's hard to, you don't say pro-immigrant or anti-immigrant or something like that. It's the legal issue. If you come across any of our borders and you do it legally,
mm-hmm.
you wait in line, you go through your checkpoint, all your papers are in order, you learn English before you get here so you can communicate.
Yeah.
If you do all that stuff, come on over. Get yourself a really good job, get yourself an education, get yourself in credit card debt, like the rest of us. If you come here by any other means, get out. Now that we've caught you, you're out of here.
That's just what happens. So I usually try to keep political talk out of it, but it's not going to happen.
Very strongly.
It's not going to happen this time. See, we're Trump supporters. We'll say that, but that doesn't mean we're Republican. In fact, I decline a party. If I like what you're saying, there you go.
You may vote for that person.
Yes.
You know what they say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care if the dude's symbol is a jackass and the other one's an elephant. Well, I don't care. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So a lot of people are saying that Donald Trump's a racist, but he's been in the public eye for 30 years, hasn't been called a racist until he started to run for president. So that, A, should tell you something. And B, when he's talking about deporting illegal immigrants,
it doesn't mean all Mexicans.
Well, that's just what we've done. Way before Trump was alive, we've caught illegal immigrants and deported them back to their country of origin.
But not all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ones that we caught, I mean, we don't catch you, obviously, you just get to stay. But if you get caught, you go back to your country of origin. That's just what it is. And that doesn't mean Mexicans. That means you can be British and here illegally, and you just get sent.
French, Canadian,
whatever. Wherever you're from, if you're here illegally and we catch you,
you got to go.
You go back to your country of origin. So there's that. So the undocumented children getting they can go to public schools. They get Medi-Cal, yeah, that's what I wrote, Medi-Cal, and they just get to hang out like they're a citizen.
There are kids here in this country whose parents were here illegally. You say everything's legal. Parents, the kid is here born legal, and they can't get the stuff that the illegal kids are going to get.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This country worries so much about outsiders instead of the people that are already here and have issues and hard times, difficulties. It's sad.
Yeah, it's crazy that someone, and also another thing, it's, I don't really know how I feel about this, but it's the, I guess, law, I'm not really sure, that we have here, that if you were born on American soil, you automatically are a citizen of the United States. Yeah, I guess, but I
Well, you
mean,
can see we have other countries that we have jurisdiction over,
Mhm.
and so that's considered American soil,
so, yeah.
like the island of Guam.
So you can be born in Guam, and guess what? You're an
And-
American citizen.
Also, any military base
Yeah, that too.
around the world is considered American soil if it's
Yeah.
our military base.
So that's also another thing. We probably don't hear about it a lot, but pregnant women sacrificing pretty much everything to get over here to make sure that their kid is born a legal citizen. Although it's kind of funny when you think about it, because if that illegal mother gets caught, she gets deported, but the kid gets to stay because it's a citizen. I say it's because I'm not referring to gender here. It's a citizen. It just goes into foster care while mommy goes back to country of origin. And if daddy made the trek too, he gets to go. I have friends that are not U.S. citizens. However, they are here legally.
And working on it, right?
Yeah, I think they should be taking their,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, their, what is that word? Is it naturalized? Neutralized?
You know, they're not neutralized. You don't get the
Naturalized.
neutralizer from Cesaro.
No, but they're working on becoming citizens. I think they're going to take it this year, and if not this year, next year.
Citizenship test.
Yeah, but what is the word that they
Naturalized.
naturalized? So that, see, I don't even know that. Also, another thing I just want to kind of point out here is foreign people know more about American stuff than most Americans do.
Most Americans under 30. Let's preface that.
Okay,
Or
we'll
maybe
put it-
25.
Yeah, we'll put it there because all
Millennials are stupid.
all the things that they have to. Thanks, Dad. All the things that they. Oh wait, no, I don't think I'm a millennial. Victory. What was I saying? I lost train of thought.
Can't help you.
Oh yeah, all the stuff that they have to learn, such as the original 13 colonies, how many stars are on the flag. Okay, that stuff is pretty easy, but then they ask you they'll ask you the presidents and all this stuff, and most Americans don't know that kind of stuff. They have to learn they have to learn the Bill of Rights and the preamble,
Well,
the
we
pledge.
learned- In my generation, we learned it in the 7th grade, but a lot of us promptly forgot it in the 8th grade. And then some of us still retain it now, so it's kind of a hit and miss.
Yeah.
Before we get to talk about wrestling, we got one other topic of current events that we're trying to stay away from.
Yeah, I don't like to pull.
I just want to say, porta potties have been transgender neutral
Oh,
since they've been invented. Now we're worrying about it.
that. I thought we were going political.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it is kind of, but yeah, porta potties were transgender bathrooms before
Yeah. Anybody could use them.
it was any law. So, what?
I
The debate's
mean,
really retarded.
yeah. Well, it's not PC to say that.
Well, I've never been PC and never will be.
What was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I was born a man. I will die a man.
It depends on what your wife does.
True. I don't know. But basically, born a man and die a man. Stay that way.
I generally piss outside, so I don't care.
There you go. Victory. Maybe that's why all the women want to become men.
So they can piss outside.
Exactly.
I know a lot of them that do. I'm married.
So let's go ahead and talk about wrestling.
So Raw this week. We haven't watched SmackDown.
No, but I do know that Alberto Del Rio is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know who he wrestled for it, but I know he's there.
And there should be one other. At least they did, or 3 others, right? They did 4 on Raw, so they should have done 3 on SmackDown. Alberto Del Rio's in it. Why? Because he's banging Paige.
Yeah, there you go. I really thought she was engaged to someone else. I didn't.
She might have been. We don't watch Total Divas. They could have called it off.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This was fake anyway. It's as fake as the rest of WWE.
Yeah. I'm happy that they announced the brand split. That it will go back to.
I told you.
It's going to go back to SmackDown being its own entity and Raw being its own entity.
With its own roster, own
roster.
superstars, own storylines, own belts,
own creative team.
What did I say? What did I say when they made the women's championship and they dumped the Divas title?
No, you mean the WWE Women's Champion?
Yeah. What did I say?
That they'll probably brand split and bring back the Diva belt anyways.
Yes, they will.
Hopefully they create a Diva tag team.
That'd be good.
Because
Tag team division. Although they don't have a roster deep enough of female wrestlers yet. They gotta haul up everybody out of NXT and leave them without a women's division if they want to do that.
Yep.
Brand split, I'm all for it. I'm so happy. I've been saying it was coming for 6 months. And I think the timing is right because all the injured guys are coming off their injuries. Seth Rollins stole Cena's thunder and came back a week early. Cena will be back this coming Monday. Orton's due back anytime. Mark Henry, Big Show, all kinds of people are on their way back. So the roster is going to be deep enough to support the brand split. Plus, they still got guys that they can call up from NXT.
Yeah, and all the new talent. So that I don't know. I was thinking about this last night. Do you think that when they brand split, that all the new guys go to SmackDown, all the old dudes stay on Raw?
No.
No? You think it's going to be a good mix?
Yes. Probably not as good as you want it to be as far as personal beliefs go, but they're going to mix it. Well, look at Money in the Bank. They're sprinkling new era guys in with the veterans that are already there. So,
Oh, I think Chris Jericho's in it. I could be wrong, but I think Chris Jericho.
I believe so. So we were talking, no, because he was against Ambrose. Did Ambrose win? I don't remember. It was Monday. We don't know. Yeah. It says 4 days later. Our memories are that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for the brand split. I've been waiting for it for such a long time. They should have never stopped it. Once they started unifying it and making it all just one storyline through the week, remember we used to have superstars on Wednesdays. Oh. So you had Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You had Raw, Superstars, and SmackDown. And then they just made it all one continuous story. And that was just so boring, so lame, and they had so many good people.
With the brand split, I'm kind of hoping that they'll bring back some titles, like the Cruiserweight division.
Oh yeah, that's going to be on SmackDown again.
And hopefully the Hardcore title.
That would be cool. They need to have the Hardcore with the 24/7 rule.
Yeah, because
some of the funniest wrestling shit you've ever seen is the 24/7 Hardcore rule.
That stuff is
especially great. When Michael, what was his name? I can't think of his name. Is it Michael Lockford? Something like that. Who was known professionally as Crash Holly. He would be. They had cameras following him everywhere. He went to the carnival with his wife and kids, and he got attacked by carnival performers trying to take his belt. And there's always a referee present. I don't know how that works. He went to a Chuck E. Cheese. They attacked him in Chuck E. Cheese. Grocery store, gas station. It's some of the funniest stuff ever.
And what was nice too is that when you watch wrestling, you see that the men have the IC title, the US title, the main title, and then the women only have their women's belt. The Hardcore title could be anybody.
Yeah, I think
because Jacqueline won it from one of my personal favorite wrestlers, the Hurricane. She attacked him backstage, She distracted him, hit him in the head with a frying pan, and there was just a referee who happened to be by, and Jacqueline pinned it.
I think it was a referee that actually won the title too.
Yeah.
That was awesome. They need to
Undertaker
bring that
won
back.
it.
They need to bring it. Foley had it.
Of course, Foley had it.
Yeah, they just need to bring that back, especially with the 24/7 rule. That would be the best thing ever.
Or put the 24/7 rule on the main title.
No.
Oh yeah. So with the brand split, does that mean 2 Money in the Banks, 2 Royal Rumbles?
They did it before.
1 WrestleMania.
Actually, I didn't like that. Actually, I didn't. They still do 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, don't they?
No, because now they've just added it. Instead of being a 6-man, now it's a 7-man. This makes it the same time.
But they did used to do. Raw had their 6 guys, and SmackDown, Teddy Long was general manager. He had his own Money in the Bank ladder match. So, I don't know. Yeah, they could still do that. Why not? One WrestleMania with half the card from each show.
Right.
I remember when they tried to split it 3 ways with the ECW.
Phrasing.
That wasn't that good.
Yeah. So who do you want to see the most with the belt?
Cesaro.
I meant from each belt. So Cesaro with all of them, just
Yeah, he could be be Kurt Angle. He could be he could hold all 5 titles at once.
yeah. Or RVD, who held the ECW championship and both titles from both brands, I think. Or was he tag team? I don't remember. That was a while ago. I would like to see Styles with the title, Cesaro with the title.
I'm not sure. I'll give AJ a title, but it seems to be they're going to do. He's on this frustrated. They just started him. I think I didn't see SmackDown yet. It looks like they might have put him on a losing streak. They did this story with Cena and The Rock. I mean, devastating loss to The Rock, and then it took him a whole year of failing before he was ready again. It looks like they might do that with AJ Styles, which is stupid.
Much better competitor than that.
Yeah, Styles. It looks because he had that loss on Monday, and they showed him sitting out on the ramp with his head in his hands and all that, and they dissolved the club for now. I'd say now he's going to fight his own guys, the club, and continue losing matches, maybe with their interference. And it'll take a couple of months before he'll turn it around and start winning and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that storyline, but it looks like that's what they might do.
So, and because I know that when Cena comes back, he gets the championship. Is he going to win it that very night on Raw, or
Probably.
Or how long is it going to take him?
It reminds that Cena, and then that would be with the Authority with Triple H. Reminds me of the opening scene in Deadpool. What do you think about it? Whose did I have to get this movie?
Oh, that. I thought you were talking about the action sequence. I was trying to...
Well, what he said.
Yeah.
Same thing with Cena becoming champion.
Nah, because they just give it to him. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. So.
And I felt like that's what they did with The Miz. Is that Zack Ryder finally won a championship in I don't know how long. He's over here, IC champion. Nope, Miz beat.
That was just a gimme. They had to give it to Ryder so he wouldn't quit.
No, they had to give it to Miz so he wouldn't quit.
No, Miz wouldn't quit. Miz loves wrestling too much. No, they gave it to Ryder so Ryder would stay on for a few more months until his contract expires.
Yeah.
Say, look, if you stay, we'll give you this title. Don't quit on us. We need you. We
For
got
less
too many
than-
guys injured.
For less than 24 hours.
But they made good on their deal. They gave him his title. I want to bring something up to you that you may not have considered. We've talked about it before. You've talked about when wrestlers come out and they're all wet or oily or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about AJ Styles?
How he comes out with his dry hair.
Yeah. He comes out with dry hair. No, they don't wet him down or anything.
I'm not bothered by it. I think... I don't even... The reason I would think that they wet their hair is to keep it out of their face, but Styles doesn't seem to be bothered by it.
Half the guys that come out have their hair in their face. I believe, I don't know for sure, but it's to make them look like they're already been battling or whatever. They look like they're sweaty, they're wet, their hair's all matted because they're ready to go, ready to continue their fight, blah blah blah, and to make it easier to get out of their sight. But it's an intimidation thing. But Styles, I think that just goes to his being a new wrestling character in the universe, in the WWE universe. Just one more thing to set him apart. He's got those cool gloves. He's got, people have gloves, but not like his.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, Stardust, but Stardust ripped his off of AJ Styles, and then his song's crap, but his hair, everything, he's just totally different than any other wrestler. He stands out. Plus, he's got moves that he's not allowed to do that would really make him stand out.
I know. I wish there's a.
But then he would injure the other half of the roster. So.
Right, but there are moves that I would like to see him do. Like if you've watched, he's only done it a couple of times, and I think he did it to Owens on Monday or last week. I don't know, where he kind of gave him a weird wheelbarrow. Where he trying to think of the name. Basically, he picked up Owens and then slammed him back on his face while he sat down. Well, that's actually
It's like a pancake power bomb.
Kind of. And that's actually the ending to a move that he does, where he does it with a German, and then he rolls over, and then he does that ending, which would be awesome to see.
A German suplex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does a German suplex.
All you said it was a German.
Well, people should know.
If they're not exactly wrestling savvy.
Yeah. So anyways, he does a German suplex, rolls over, and then does that
Pancake power bomb.
I guess, yeah, that ending move.
That's
so that
awesome.
that would be cool to see. I'm glad he brought in the Superman, which is the 450 springboard off the ropes. Of course, they were gonna allow him to use the
He needs to bring
Styles
in
Clash.
the spiral tap.
Yeah, I think he's been going up to do it, just no one's been letting him. Because every time he goes up on the top rope, he gets hit. He doesn't jump off.
Yeah, they can't. Like I said, they're putting him on a losing streak.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's
he
been
did that
since he
against-
debuted, though.
He did no. He's got up on the top rope and come off plenty of times. He does his flying forearm.
Oh. No, I'm talking about on the turnbuckle. When he does because he's never jumped off.
And then, and then that losing storyline he had a storyline like similar to that with Christopher Daniels back in Impact a few years ago, where it was Christopher Daniels bragged about being better than AJ Styles. They had that whole thing going for 6 months or so. So yeah, it looks like they're recycling the story they've already done.
Sounds like WWE. Was something I was going to mention, and I don't remember now. Oh well. Oh, would you like to see Samoa Joe come up to the main roster?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. Not yet.
Just buy your time.
Well, bide your time.
That too.
You can't take all the good guys out of NXT, or else you have nothing in NXT. Everybody would quit watching it, and the whole mission of NXT would have failed, which it's close to doing now. They have, because of the injuries on the roster, or the let goes, the releases. They've had to bring up people out of NXT that just aren't ready yet. Look at Neville.
Oh yeah, he hurt his ankle.
Yeah, but before he hurt it, where is he? They brought him up. He did a couple of really good appearances. Where is he now?
He's injured.
Yeah, and did he get a push? In the beginning, he did.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of stalled him out. They gave him that dumb superhero storyline against Stardust. Oh, let's talk about Stardust release.
Oh, I don't know. Probably just I have a feeling that the Dudleys aren't too far off. I think it's just him being pissed off.
Well, he said, from what I saw on his Twitter, that he felt he didn't want to do the Stardust character anymore. He'd done about all he could do with it. They weren't giving him any story. So he wanted to revert back to Cody Rhodes, a new variation on himself. And Triple H and the creative team said, we don't have anything to write for that, but we've got a little bit of Stardust stuff, just give us some time. Well, that time means, no, you sit on the sidelines while we push the new era guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we've got time, we'll get back to you. And he said, no, screw that. You can let me out. And then his wife turned around and went with him. Yeah. And they made a big deal about that. If you don't know, Cody Rhodes' wife is the ring announcer, Eden Styles. And she went with him the next day. And why not? They hardly ever use her. She's maybe like every other match announcement with, they switch her out with Lillian Garcia. Eva Marie's wrestling, not announcing.
Oh, no.
So Eden Styles, she went with her husband, and then I had seen a chat room or somewhere where they were commenting on that, and it's like they act like it was something brand new, yet AJ Lee left with CM Punk, and Brie Bella left with her husband.
Wait,
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, no, Nikki's with Cena.
So why is this like a new thing that's all of a sudden, oh, she's so brave to do it? It's like, it's just a trend. It's just something that happens. If your significant other, now this is talking about married people, because if you're not married, it doesn't really matter, and that would come down to a personal thing. China stayed in. Well, she wasn't married to Triple H, but they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and she stayed in the company after her and after Triple H went with Stephanie. So.
When you said the new era, that reminded me of what I was going to talk about. I don't like the fact that they're acknowledging that it's the new era, and that they reference the Attitude Era and PG era sometimes. I don't like the fact that they're talking about that.
Talk about what?
That Shane will come out and, oh, this is the new era. That's dumb to me. Because that would be like if you're reading a comic book and then all of a sudden they talk about, well, hey, in the Golden Age, this never happened. The comic book characters themselves acknowledging the Golden Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, all of that. I mean...
Are you sure Deadpool hasn't?
I was going to say, with the exception of Deadpool, because he breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
But if you're watching, if you're reading a Batman comic and all of a sudden Alfred goes, hey, in the Golden Age, the Joker, whatever, that would be dumb. And so I think it's stupid that Shane will come out and go, well, that may have been how it happened in the old era, but in the new... No, shut up. Just make your decision and just go away.
No, that's totally right, because what they're doing is they're pushing towards an Attitude Light era. That's what's going to happen coming, because so many people... The Attitude Era, if you don't know, was a period in wrestling where they said, yeah, you know what? This stuff isn't real. That's when they started calling it sports entertainment instead of wrestling. They acknowledged that this is what we are. We're a show. We're a male soap opera. We don't care. Get on with it. Like it. And they pretty much started letting people do whatever the hell they wanted to do. They had to. And this was not for kids. Okay? Mm-hmm. This wrestling was Deadpool, just not quite R-rated. Lot of stuff going on that you can't get away with in today's PG climate, but they're starting to see that the PG climate is slowly eroding away. There's still extreme fanatics that will cry about stuff that isn't PC, getting their feelings hurt, because a lot of people are like, you know what, we're tired. No, you don't hurt our feelings. Go ahead and do this. Mm-hmm. Shane is... I'm saying this, and I said it about Brand Split, so it's going to take a while. Shane is pushing them towards an Attitude Light era, and so he's right to define it by new parameters. The new era is going to have this in it. So there's nothing wrong with you're qualifying. You're distinguishing it from the past, and there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
So, do we have anything else you want to talk about that?
There was something else on Raw we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about any of the botches going on.
Yeah, let's talk about those. And it's hard to watch the Cesaro botch, but that happened. So, he knows a friend that will believe that wrestling, or that WWE is the greatest, that they make no mistakes, that nothing can compare to it. Why even watch anything else? However, we can watch Monday, and if you just watch Cesaro trying to do the corkscrew European uppercut, they need a shorter name for that. Anyways, a corkscrew European uppercut, and he doesn't hit the Miz in the on the chin neck area where he's supposed to.
You hit him down here,
like in the shoulder or in the chest. Credit to the Miz, he still sold it.
Well, that's not exactly a botch. It's just the fact that we saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really hitting each other in the face.
Well, yeah, but
they're hitting up here or whatever. But no, the other thing I wanted to talk about was not specifically, just in general, that it's funny that you'll be watching it and you can anybody that's going up to the top, if you look at the guy down, he squiggles and screws himself around until he's in position so he can get hit. Mm-hmm. Some of them are a lot more obvious about it than others. I think that's funny, but yeah, like you're saying, there are some people out there who think WWE is the be-all, end-all of wrestling, and it's not. There's a great product out there. You just have to look for it, or go even see an independent live event. I'll shout out to my internet wrestling friend, Ruby Reyes. She's a cool female competitor, and she does a lot of, I think this week, in the beginning of the week, she was in Louisiana, and 2 days later, she was in Southern California. So these people are busting their ass. They travel, and a lot of times they'll mix it up with known superstars. There's a wrestling event coming in June that's got, he hasn't got a new name yet. He's formally known as Damian Sandow. He's doing his given name, Aaron Haddad. But he's headlining a wrestling show along with Hall and Nash. And then a whole bunch of independent guys that you never even heard of. But I mean, if you can go see a live event and pay $10-20, hey, that gives them money for a chimichanga and gas in their car to get to the next show. You should totally go out and do that. Wrestling is fun in person, even without the big pyro and the big screens. If you go, most likely, if you go see a local wrestling show, you're going to see it in a gymnasium at a high school or at the fairgrounds or whatever. Matter of fact, my friend Dale, Dale's Guitars downtown, he went to the Merced County Fair a couple of years ago, and they had a wrestling match. And he actually got put in the master lock by Chris Masters. Totally fun for him, except that it wasn't fun for him afterwards. That's what happens when you challenge a wrestler after you've been drinking, and they're used to that. There was going to be some wrestling here in our town, in Turlock, at the War Memorial, but for some reason the city said no. So they ended up having it, I think, in Newman or Atwater or something like that. So go out and see and support local wrestling. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, I went to Pro Wrestling Bushido at X Fest last year, and that was fun. I got into it. I was one of the guys in the audience that was totally into it, and when the referee was making mistakes, I was calling him out on it, and and then I went and actually congratulated or thanked every wrestler that performed. Just tell them I appreciate that they did a good job, they put on a good show, and I was totally down with that. And then one of the promoters came up to me and actually handed me free tickets for their next show because they wanted somebody like me there, somebody that was totally into it. I was calling out the referee on bad calls and yelling at him and doing all the stuff that you're supposed to do at a wrestling show without being an idiot and without throwing beer at them or hitting the wrestlers when they come outside or whatever. Just supportive of it. Free tickets. I didn't get to go because I had to work, but go out and see and support real in live wrestling. It's fun.
So to end the wrestling talk, we are fans of the YouTube channel WhatCulture.com, their WWE branch anyways. I haven't brought this up to you, so here's news for you. They are making their own wrestling show, basically. It's a WCPW.
The hosts wrestling.
No, it doesn't. So, which as much as I would have liked to see Adam Blampier destroy Jack the Jobber in a ring, it's like they're going to have independent guys wrestle each other, but kind of like the Vince versus Donald Trump thing, where Vince had his own wrestler, Donald Trump had his own wrestler, and then they wrestled, and then
so
whoever
they're
won.
proxies. So Adam Blampier has some guy, and Jack the Jobber has some guy.
And then they wrestle.
Are they wrestling in a ring?
Yeah, they're going to be in a ring. It's I'll have to show you after this, but yeah, I thought that was cool. It's What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, don't promote other YouTube shows on our YouTube show.
I don't care. Subscribe to PewDiePie. There you go. I said it.
No, subscribe to Wolf.
Yeah, that too.
Podcast.
But yeah, so no, I think that's kind of cool. I would actually like to see them get in the ring themselves, but oh well. So yeah, I think that we can close out wrestling on that.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
Yeah. So last thing I wanted to talk about is if you haven't realized, we live in America, and us specifically, we live in California, and
California.
Yeah. So noticing, this might get a lot of hate.
Oh, you're
too.
going to go from wrestling back to politics.
Yeah, kind of. So this might get a lot of hate. However, in California, 60% of the people speak English, and 40% of the people
speak whatever,
and 28% of that is Spanish. Yeah, it's Spanish. It's the second most common language. You're in America. Why aren't you speaking English? Now, put down the pitchforks and the hate comments. If you go to Germany, Italy, other countries like that, it's most likely that they speak English.
But
however, if you go up to them and just start speaking English, I wouldn't say get offended, but they get mad.
Well,
they don't like it because you're in their country. Why aren't you speaking their language? Now, if you don't know German, you buy one of those stupid books.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, you go up to them and then you struggle through it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I can speak English," and then they're more helpful. But if you just show up and start, "Hey guys, English," they get mad at you.
How you doing?
So why isn't that the same for here? Why is it that we just feel that we have to change? Oh, you don't speak English? Well, here, the DMV will put out your language, and you can then take your test, and you don't have to, no English required. Why?
Yeah, well, and then I was going to say is when Americans go to other countries, it's commonplace, almost. You're going to, before you even leave the country, you're going to have your translator book so that you can communicate with other people. But in California, it doesn't seem to happen. Nobody cares.
Nope.
Oh, you don't know what we're saying? Let's make it easier for you,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just speak what you're speaking. And I was like, no.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I probably should have got my friend, but I think he's at work because he feels strongly about this too. But you're in America. Speak English. That's the language. Just sorry.
Yeah, and before all the hate mail from the Native Americans come, that's over with. Sorry.
Yeah.
English is the preferred.
Yeah.
language
Also,
in
look
this
at what
country.
we did with the place. Just saying. So.
Well, we stole it from Native Americans.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, look what we did with it, though. Which then you're going to get the environmentalists. Oh, you destroyed the previous. Anyways,
Blah,
it's
blah, we don't care about that. We're talking about.
Yeah.
What we're talking about. This subject is speaking English when you come to this country. You should have learned it before you crossed the border legally.
Right. My friends learned English before. I think they went to a Catholic school.
The twins.
Yeah, and they learned English and then came over here. So look at that.
And it's not the greatest English. I've heard them talk.
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, my English isn't all that great. You hear me stumbling over words, but I speak it.
Broken English is better than no English at all, and it's a lot more funnier.
Yeah, that too. A lot more funnier.
Yes.
Okay, then more funny, but.
Don't be getting me started on that crap.
So I think that's.
On words that don't exist.
I think that's gonna wrap up.
Like funnest, funner, funnier, whatever.
Never stop stopping.
Connor for real?
Yeah, that actually looks like a funny movie.
That does.
Although
we may talk about that next time.
I don't know when it comes out actually.
June 4th.
Oh, so we'll see what day that is, and maybe we'll talk about that. So,
We're done.
are we? That's it. All right.
Pretty much.
Well, then subscribe to become part of the Wolf Pack today.